Hello, thank you so much for doing this interview. I'm so excited, Kimberly. So everybody, if you're watching, I don't know if you're on the replay, but this is Latte Resume Consulting's platform. My name is Racquel Rogers. I'm the founder and managing director of Latte Resume Consulting, and I help people go after their ultimate professional goals. So whether you're a career seeker or you're an entrepreneur. And so today we have Kimberly Brown. She is the author of the book that just came out on yesterday, correct? Tame Me.
Mhm.
Yes. And so I'm so excited that she was able to just take time out of her busy schedule to do this interview. So welcome, Kimberly. So tell everybody again, just introduce yourself and the name of the book, and we're gonna get right into the questions.
Okay. Hello, I am Kimberly Brown. Today we are going to be discussing my newest release of Tame Me. Um,
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So what inspired you to write this book?
um, for this character, she was actually the best friend of the main character in my first release.
Mm,
So people were really kind of they really liked her character in that book, and they actually were asking for her personal story.
okay.
Um, I actually already had her story written
Uh-huh.
prior to my first book coming out.
Uh-huh.
So her story was always in the works for her to have a book for herself.
Nice, nice. So what is the name of that book so we'll know where to go to get the
Pretty
backstory?
Cage. It's called Pretty Caged Bird.
Pretty Cage Bird. Okay, I did see that in the group. Okay, so question. So where do you get your ideas? I know you said it looks like it's a trilogy kind of series kind of going on. So where do you get your ideas when you write?
Honestly, it most of my ideas just kind of come out of nowhere. Like I can be watching a movie or watching a TV show or listening to a song and
Uh-huh.
just kind of get some inspiration. Like maybe I could write a story about this, or maybe I can do this a little differently than somebody else might have done it.
Right, right, right. So is there a such thing as writer's block? Because I'm an author as well. And so I love to write, I love to read, but do you ever get that like I just I can't do it, or is your creative juices just always flowing?
Uh, Prior to this year I've had a ton of inspiration, so
Mhm.
the ideas just kept flowing. But before that, I think I had writer's block for at least about 2 years for a story that I was working on.
Real.
Like I self-published uh a novel like in 2019, 2000, I think it was 2019. And it was supposed to be a two-part, but I still have not finished the second part to that. So
But
that's how
you
bad
will.
the writer's block was going with that one.
You will, you will. It happens to the best of us. It really does. So if you can tell us a little bit about the book, like why should we go and like purchase it? Like what's in it? Like talk to us. Tell us what the book is about.
Um, well, Jaleesa, she really kind of deals with a lot of anxieties and like I wouldn't say mental health issues, but she has a couple of insecurities, and it all stems from things that have happened to her in her past.
Mhm.
So watching her best friend, fall in love and marry the man of her dreams, she just kind of she wants
Uh,
that for herself.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it, even not even if it's directly, but possibly indirectly, and especially coming out of the pandemic. I think a lot of us, there was some kind of mental health going on even in that. So that's a really good thing. And that was going to actually be my next question. What are some important things that you don't want the readers to miss? So I know you mentioned about mental health, seems like relationships. Anything else that's really big?
Self-care and
Yeah.
self-worth for one. She struggles with that a lot. And the lead male character in there, he kind of, he kind of he kind of comes in, he kind of builds her up. So she's learning to accept herself and learning to be comfortable in her own skin just as she is.
Right, right. You got me into it. I'm just like, I'm about to ask you, do him and her get together, but I guess you can't give me that. I guess I got to get the
No,
book,
don't
right?
give you that too much.
Okay. Okay. Did you learn anything from writing this book? Because I mean, those are powerful things to go into. Did you learn anything from it? What was your takeaway?
Um, I think I learned I deal with anxiety myself, so I think it kind of it gave me an idea of how to, I guess, work on myself the way that she had to work on herself.
Mm-hmm.
Being more accepting of yourself and more loving of yourself. So
Yes, yes.
I tried to see a little bit of me in her as I was writing that. So
Oh
I kind of learned
wow.
a little about myself with that.
Oh wow. That's a great thing. I think that's a good thing is being even an author myself. Like for me, writing and just writing a book, putting it out there, that's me being vulnerable. I feel safe for some reason, even though the whole world is going to be reading it, which they are going to be reading. The whole world is going to read Tame Me by Kimberly Brown. And so I can definitely relate to that as well, just that character. Um, I wouldn't say, I would say, there's seasons in your life where things just happen. And I just think just so far what you're saying, I'm like, okay, I gotta get this book. Got to. Um, so what if, oh, I do want to ask you this. Is the character, you've already kind of hint on this, but is the character inspired by someone that we may know as far as a movie star? Like, is it somebody that we should be thinking about when we're reading this book in the
Um,
movies, perhaps?
I wouldn't say that. I feel like she's kind of a reflection of the everyday woman.
I love it. You guys hear that? She wrote this specifically for all of us. That is excellent. I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is for emerging like authors, writers. So what advice do you have for them? Because you've written several books, Kimberly, and you're very successful even on Amazon. I was just looking, at some of the just even the reviews in the group I think that we're in together. And so tell us about that. Like if somebody wants to put out a book, like what advice do you have, or they want to write, or they may be scared?
I would say the biggest thing is having confidence in yourself. I know coming into my publisher, I was going to be working with a lot of heavy hitters. So I was a little nervous, kind of, I wouldn't say going up against them, but, being in the same category as them. You
And you
definitely can't
deserve
compare
it.
yourself to anybody else. You
Mhm.
know, focus on you and what kind of writer you want to be, and not the kind of writer other people want you to be, or the kind of writer that other people are.
I like that. I like that. Would you say, is that how you would define literary success? Because I like that what you just said.
um, I would say that, you have to
Mm-hmm.
kind of find your own lane and kind of, you can stick to it, but don't be afraid to, venture off and try some other genres or other
Yeah.
types of books or whatnot.
Yeah. And that leads me to my next question. What type of genres do you or do you stick with, or do you want to get into?
Right now I do contemporary and urban romance.
Oh,
Um, I'm a big horror fan, so I kind of want to
I
write
love
like
it.
a horror story,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not sure yet. I think I'd have to do a little bit of research and play around with that, but
Right.
eventually I think I might try to venture into that.
I think that's great. And just before, when you and I were just kind of going back, I was thinking, I said, I don't know how you feel about it, but I see a movie. I see a movie coming out.
Well, thank you.
Yes, yes. So,
When I write, I kind of like to visualize it in my head. So I guess with the descriptions that I use, I try
mhm,
to see it as I'm writing it.
uh-huh,
Like I want to create that kind of vibe for my reader. Like I want them to be able to vividly picture exactly what is happening.
exactly. And the way
It's
you
like a
wrote it,
mini movie in your head.
exactly, exactly. Because when I could not stop reading it, I'm like, who is this lady? Like, who is this girl? Like, oh my goodness. I mean, it just, and this for me to say this is, for somebody to draw me in like that, I just couldn't. I mean, you saw my response. So I was just like, girl, keep shining, keep shining.
I appreciate
um,
that.
yes, yes. So, how do you, oh yeah, I definitely want to ask you this. Do you hide any secrets in your books that only a few people will find?
Um, Not as of yet, but I feel
Mhm.
like as I progress with writing, it might be a few personal things that I might slip in there or a few personal references. Um, well, I could say like maybe like family members, like people that I grew up with. Sometimes I
Right.
might reference some things that like my mother or my grandmother would have said that only people that I grew up with would
Hmm.
understand the complete reference. Like I guess you would say the country sayings or whatnot.
Yeah,
But
you're right, right. I remember those. I think growing up, they would, and I'm from Alabama, but they would say, I'm going to go see a man about a horse. They're not going to go see a
mhm,
man about a
no, not
horse.
at all.
So that's good. That's good. So so when I get my book coming in, because it's coming in soon, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to be looking for some of those, some of those things that I can relate to. And so how do you select, last question, how do you select the names of your characters? I know you mentioned Jaleesa. So how do you select their names, or do you just make them up?
Um, I actually Google is my best friend, so
Hmm.
I Google names that I haven't seen a lot in other books that I've read or like names that aren't very common. So
Yeah.
I have a notebook and I have a list of male character names and female character names. Um, like once I choose the title and the storyline, I kind of just go through it and see which name actually speaks to the character.
Hmm. Hmm.
And once it just jumps out at me, I'm like, okay, that's who that's gonna be.
That is amazing. I mean, so basically what I'm hearing is you definitely are different. Like you want to be like, hey, you've never even heard these names before. You can't even, there's no biases that can come in with it. That's what I'm hearing too, when you think about names. And then I just like that. I like the way you prepare for when you pick a character. That's really interesting. Y'all got to hear that's for free right there. She just gave you something. So, okay, well, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for taking out your time. So, tell everyone, the readers, the listeners, people that's viewing this, how can they connect with you and find all of your books? Like, where can we find them, and etc. And anything you want to add here?
Okay. My catalog is fully available on Amazon under Kimberly Brown, so you can look up either Pretty Cage Bird, Tame Me, or Beyond Measures, and just click on my name, and everything will pop up. Um, I am on Facebook under author Kimberly Brown, and Instagram under that same name. Um, I haven't gotten together a website yet, but I am working on that so I can, kind of interact with people and sell like
Mhm.
paper bags and do like sneak peeks and exclusives. So
Oh, I love it.
I'm working on that. I'm still learning a lot with coming into this. So
Yeah,
it's coming. It's not there yet, but it's coming.
there you go. It's coming. It's a process. Everything's a process. That's what I tell.
It
Great, good, good, good. So, guys, you heard it. Go to Amazon, Kimberly Brown. She has Tame Me, Pretty Cage Bird, and so many other books as well. You do not want, I mean, this is a hot author. So you definitely want to get her books and definitely support and invest in yourselves. And so thank you so much, Kimberly, for taking out your time. I'm not going to have you too much longer, but thank you so much for this.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.